Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Further Travel podcast, where we talk about traveling further to places like Thailand, Bali, and so much more. So, my name is Harry. Thank you for joining the podcast today. And I've got a really special guest today. I've got Billie with me, who is actually one of our fantastic creators. Hi, Billie. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm fab. Thank you so much for coming onto the pod. I just think we should start off if you can introduce yourself to everyone and what trip you went on and when you went on it as well.
Hi guys, I'm Billie and I went on the 12-day adventure with Camp Thailand. I went in 2020, I think it is now. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Amazing. As if that was 2 years ago. I bet you that's absolutely flew though since you've been.
No, really, it feels like it was yesterday. Like, whenever I talk about it, it drives me insane that it was years ago. Like, all I ever do is recommend Thailand to people, and I just think, like, how much might it have changed in the 2 years that I've not been?
No, literally. What drew you to Thailand in general? Like back in 2023, were there loads of different destinations that you were like, oh, I want to try there, I want to try there, or were you like, I want to go to Thailand?
To be honest, I've always wanted to travel. Like, I actually started looking at traveling from when I was 18, but things come off and it didn't end up. And then I actually finally decided, like, I wanted to take that leap and do, like, different things when I was 20. And then the dreaded lockdown happened, so that really put an end to things then.
Yeah.
And then Thailand has always been top of my list, and I'll be honest, it's mainly because I absolutely love elephants. Like, elephants are my favourite animal, and I was like, where can I go? Where can I see them? And I feel like, not to be annoying and say it, but, like, Thailand and Asia is always, like, people's first place when they go backpacking, let's say, because it is a thing of safety, and it is so safe out there, and it's like everyone's so friendly. And yeah, Thailand was definitely always top of my list, and even though I've been, it still is top of my list and continues to always be. Like, I'm constantly on my laptop looking at, like, different routes to go on, places to go again. It's always my first recommendation to people. But yeah, Thailand was always top of my list, and as soon as I seen, like, this opportunity, it was something that I jumped on straight away, and it was ideal, the timing and the price and everything for me. So yeah, I just jumped on it as soon as I could, to be honest.
Amazing. And I'm so glad you did it as well, because look at you now, like you literally do live videos for us, you create like so many good videos, so it's just crazy how it's worked out, how you literally went on the trip and now you kind of work with the company. It's crazy. Obviously you said that you went for the elephants and stuff. Was there any like particular reason that you decided to go with Camp Thailand? Because I can imagine that you probably looked at like loads of different companies if you wanted to go to Thailand anyway. What like was the thing that drew you to camp?
So one of the biggest things that drew me to camp was definitely like it being a group trip, because I actually ended up paying for my Camp Thailand trip, like, as my first ever solo, like, let's say solo trip. But I ended up going to Malaysia with my university.
Wow.
The year before that. So that ended up being like my first, like, kind of solo trip where I went on a group trip but didn't know anybody who I was going with. And then that's when I'd like paid off Thailand and everything, and it was like, okay, this is like my next big step. But it was definitely like it being a group trip that drove me towards it. And, you know, I'm part of a brilliant friendship group, but none of them really have this drive to travel. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's definitely becoming a thing for them now, which is like, and they're being like, I told you so, like, it needed to be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, like, it was the fact it was a group thing. It was the fact that, like, and I know what this makes me sound lazy, but it's the fact that, like, everything was already done for me. Like, the idea of solo traveling, like, don't get me wrong, I do it now. Like, I'm currently living in Italy, like, I'm completely on my own, and I know what I'm doing. But the idea of having to, like, sit and go through all these hostels and hotels and then find everything like that really just stressed me out. So the idea that I could do that and it be with a group of people that I'd hopefully be friends with for life, and B, everything would be sorted for me, and like the complete stress of that was taken off me was just ideal. And yeah, I think that's something that definitely like I was pushed towards with going with Camp Thailand.
Yeah, no, that's so good to hear. And I think we get loads of queries, especially when we're on like TikTok Live and stuff like that. We get so many people who say, I really want to do something like this, but I just don't have any friends who want to do the same thing. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's something that we hear all the time. I mean, I went to America like the past 2 summers. None of my friends wanted to do that. I'm from such a small little town where everyone is just, they just want to settle down and get a house and have a family in the same town. I'm someone who just wants to travel, as are you, as are so many people who are interested in doing something like this. But I think
Yeah.
what we try and get across from a head office point of view and from your point of view from being a creator is that these trips are just full of like people who have the same mindset, who maybe don't have friends who want to travel but who want to like meet people who are like-minded. And I think that's what happens. Did you get along with everyone like on your trip? What was the vibe? How many people were there? Can you remember?
Yeah, so I feel like I personally at least tried to get on with everyone on the trip. And I feel like a good few of us did get on. I think near the end there was one or two bits of like awkwardness, or I don't know. We were kind of, I think, I want to say maybe a group of like 24 maybe.
Wow.
That could be a lie though. It could have been less. Like, let's say like 16 to 24 people.
Yeah.
I know that's a big range, but let's just say that. And like throughout the weeks, it started to feel like there was a bit of a split between a few people. But I think sometimes, unfortunately, that is bound to happen. Hopefully, it doesn't. But I think, like, in the grand scheme of things, there are times when that could happen. And so long as you've got, like, you people who you speak to, I think that it's just inevitable, really, or, like, it's just one of them. But I think everyone did get on quite well from the start, and then it was only in the last few days, as I say, that there was a bit of a split. But I think I find that I talk too much and too loud, so people kind of need to respond to that. So I'm like a extroverted introvert. When there's a bit of silence, like I'm completely there, and I'm the one who's trying to make like conversation or something like that. And I think that definitely shows. But in group situations, it can be a good thing, I think, sometimes, which I wear that badge of pride sometimes. But
Well,
yeah, definitely, it was a lovely group of people as well. And unfortunately, I do only still speak to one girl, but we actually get on so well. Like, if you've ever been in one of my labs, or like I bring her up all the time, she's absolutely amazing. And if she does hear this, then like, I don't mean to big her up, but I love her so much. Like, so when I actually went on my trip, I was a day late. So everyone was really great to me though. Like, the whole team was so helpful. I was actually, this just sounds really daft that I didn't just cancel it, but I was actually going to like a gig with my dad, and basically was going there, and then my dad didn't drink at the concert. I did, which probably shouldn't have in hindsight, but and then he drove me to London. I had my backpack in the car, like ready for us to go. So then I got changed in the car at a service station, and then we slept for an hour in the car, and then he continued to London, because we were like Portsmouth or Plymouth or something, somewhere beginning with P. And then obviously he dropped me off, and then he drove home, and then I had my flight, and luckily it was direct, so that was fine. And then I sat next to this guy on the airplane, and he was like, why aren't you drinking? All the drinks are free. And I was like, oh, because I've just come from a concert, like I shouldn't really. And he'd ordered like 2 cans of beer, so we were having a laugh on the plane. And then when I got there, I was like awake, and I was so ready for the day. And it had been like the welcome meal the night before. And when I got there, everyone was hungover, everyone was dead. I couldn't get into my room because I'm just going to name and shame it, because Amy was still asleep and she was hungover, and she was who I was sharing my room with. and I couldn't get into my room, so I had to go and get changed in like the toilets or something. And when everyone finally woke up, like it was so lovely to meet everyone, but everyone was like dead to the world. So it was like, it was a really humbling experience. But that's how I met Amy, and then ended up spending like the whole week with her. And I was always in a room with her, and yeah, she's like, I still speak to her now. I'll probably speak to her like once a week. So I'm currently living in Italy, as I said. I lived here last year for 2 months, and she flew over to see me. She's come down to see me in Liverpool twice, because she said where she lives is rubbish for nightlife, so she's going to keep coming back to Liverpool. But yeah, so, sorry, I've just rambled for ages then, but it's definitely like, when it comes to friends, you really can find lifelong friends with it. Like, I remember going into it thinking, it'll be ideal if I make friends, but if I don't make them like outside of this, if they're just a Thailand thing, then it's worth the memories anyway. And luckily I've come away with, I'm going to say a friend for life, but yeah.
Amazing. Definitely. It happens, and I'm so glad you kind of touched on the fact that people go on these trips, and you know, sometimes there is a little bit of a click when you're on a trip, because just in any situation, people will gravitate towards certain people. There's different personality types on these trips, because we literally have people from around the world come on the trips. We have introverts, extroverts, you know, people who want to party, people who just want to like read around the pool, and we totally accept that, because we understand that it's a big thing to go on one of these trips, and we kind of don't want to say this trip is only for party goers, this trip is only for people who just want to be quiet, because we always do try and match people up in the rooms with like who they want to actually get along with, and it usually always does work. But I think it's just good to be a bit transparent and say that on these trips, especially if you're in a big group like yours was, because 16 is still quite big, there is going to be times where people just gravitate towards other people, and you can't get along with everyone. So it's good that you kind of are like open about that as well, and we can just
I talk about when I've done the lives, I have mentioned that before, and I've said like, genuinely, like, camp isn't there for you to just be out drinking all the time. If that's not something that you want to do, then you don't need to do it. Like, look, like, it's good to get people, and people obviously become a bit more like, I don't know, relaxed and like fluid in the sense of when they've had a drink, like they're more open to a conversation, I guess. But just like there's no pressure on it at all, and I think that's something that's brilliant with camp as well. Is like, as you said, there's no pressure to go out and drink. You want to sit beside the pool and have a read, which is something that I do a lot as well. Like that's, I don't even want to say the word acceptable, but like completely okay to do that and acceptable to do that. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that people do worry about, and I've had like quite a few messages over it as well. It's like, what if I don't make friends? And it's like, I understand that mindset, because don't get me wrong, I think everyone goes into it like, what if people don't like me? What if I don't make friends? Because that's me every single day of my life. Like, I can go to the shop and be like, what if the cashier doesn't like me? But I think it's something that, as I say, it's a part of life, and unfortunately, like, people do take that mindset with them, and I think if you just be yourself, someone's got to like you.
I mean, you've just got to put yourself out your comfort zone, really. Like, that is literally just life. I mean, when I've been to America the last 2 years, you really just have to put yourself out there. If you go to Thailand, it's so far away from the UK, like, you're going to have to just force yourself to be yourself and be open and just see what happens, because life is too short to, like, give a toss what anyone thinks about you, really.
But also when it comes to like, so I've done America last year and I'm doing it this year. There's so many people that like, so I'm a lifeguard in America, and it's like, you don't just have to be friends with the lifeguards. No. You can be friends with anyone. And as you say, there's so many people from all over the world, all walks of life. Like literally, like, not to mention again, but as I lived in Italy last year, I literally had friends from Italy, from Spain, from New Zealand, working in America last year. I've got friends from Australia, and it's like, I've got places to go all over the world now.
You do, exactly. Busy girl.
Honestly. But like, I think as I say, it's so sad that like, and I, like speaking for myself as well, that people go into these experiences worried that people won't like them. But as you say, you've just got to go in with an open mind. And you know, if you don't like drinking, someone's going to enjoy reading. If you don't like reading, someone's going to enjoy. There's always something about you that you can
Yeah.
talk about.
100%. No. True words, Billy. You've just got to let everyone know. Really good advice as well. Do you know when you went, obviously, on the Camp Thailand trip? If you can,
Yeah.
like, rewind back, what was, like, your favourite moment or experience besides the elephants? Because I know that you're probably going to say the elephants. I mean, you can say the elephants, but is there anything else that you kind of were like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting to like this, and it's, like, actually amazing?
I wouldn't say there was anything that I wasn't expecting to like, because not to be that girl, but I am open-minded and I do try and go into things. Like, for example, eating a scorpion. I didn't want to eat a scorpion, but you just go, okay, people are watching me, I'm going to have to try this.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. It was too salty.
Right.
But there's so many experiences. It's just like, it's difficult to choose. Definitely snorkeling. I can't recall if I'd done snorkeling before then, but now it's something that I've done like everywhere I've gone.
Oh, wow, nice.
Honestly, like it was brilliant. And I did scuba diving, and I paid the extra for the scuba diving in Thailand as well.
Wow.
So that was like unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, my experience was a little bit ruined because prior to flying out there, I'd eaten something caramelly and pulled the filling out.
Oh my God.
So when you go scuba diving, you can go 12 meters deep, and I was going 2 because I couldn't go deep enough. So that was really unfortunate. And luckily, the girl I was with was really understanding, like my scuba partner. And when we got to like the second location, I said like I won't go down. Like she can properly experience it, because I felt like I was just ruining it. But then I got a really nice tan up on the roof. I got to read my book while I was on the boat.
Nice.
So, you know, finance. But that was definitely a, like, unbelievable experience. And, like, I really, really would love to do that again. That's, like, one of the main reasons, not one of the main reasons, but a big reason I want to go back to Thailand is to go the 12 meters and, like, not be, obviously I've sorted my teeth out now,
Yeah.
but, like, have that done.
Well, hey, you've done it once, so now the world's your oyster just to do it, like, in every place that you go, hopefully. Just try and go scuba diving everywhere.
Well, I went to Bali in January, and I really wanted to do it there, but I've spent like the whole year doing stuff everywhere, and I was like, I'll find the money elsewhere another time.
Well, to be fair, that's a really good segue onto, like, kind of the last thing I want to touch on is, obviously, you did Thailand in, like, 2023, so we're talking about a few years ago now. Where has, like, life taken you now? You said that you were in Italy. Like, what has happened after you went solo traveling for the first time?
Oh my gosh, honestly, so much. So Thailand has always been a dream, and since doing that, it's definitely helped me come out my shit. Like, I would never do this. Don't get me wrong, I was definitely texting you and other people before speaking, being like, I'm so scared, I don't know what to talk about, I don't know what to do. I was sat thinking, like, do I put makeup on? Have I brushed my hair? Like, I'm like, don't get me wrong, outside of stuff like this, I am usually so bothered about what people think, like what I'm going to say, how I sound, how I look. And doing all this traveling, I'll be honest, it has helped me so much. Like, okay, there are still days where like I'm overthinking, but everything that I've done is just such a brilliant experience. So obviously I did Malaysia before Thailand, and then I did Thailand. The following month I paid prior, but I had a lot more confidence going into it. I went and did volunteer work in Fiji for a month.
Wow.
So that was done. And then I had a few little trips, but they were like with friends. And then the following year, if I'm thinking about it correctly, well, let's not think about like years actually. So since then, I've obviously worked in America, as I've mentioned, as a lifeguard. I'm going back this year. I was an au pair last year in Italy for 2 months. I'm currently here in Italy again with a different family being an au pair for 3 months. And then from here, I fly to Mexico to go and like volunteer, work in a bar that's connected to a hostel, which God knows how and why I'm doing that, but I am. And then I'm going back to America, which is something that like Camp Thailand has definitely given me like this energy and this like power to go forward and do anything. And then my last trip this year is I go to China in September and I'm going to walk the Great Wall of China and I'm raising money for a local children's hospital in Liverpool. So yeah, that'll be with a group, and that group is like a complete age range, similar to I also worked in Poland a year or two ago, like, and that age range of people, like, who we worked with, who were the volunteers, like, was so, like, up and down. Like, there was people younger than me. I was 23, maybe, 23 at the time. There was people who were, like, 21. There was people who were 40, 50, 60. And going from Camp Thailand with a group of people who are similar ages, it gives you that mindset of, okay, I can do anything. I can talk to anyone, and I can do what I want. And then it's just taking that next step of, okay, maybe I'll go and like visit somewhere which is a little bit different, or maybe I'll go and have an experience with people of different ages or anything like that. And genuinely, like, it sounds, I don't know, it just sounds bizarre saying it, but something like this really does set you up for doing so much more.
Yeah.
Like, really does.
Wow, that is amazing. I actually can't believe that. You've literally been to so many places and you're going to so many places and you're doing like such an impact as well. Like, oh my God, well done. Honestly, that is absolutely amazing. You must be like absolutely chuffed with yourself. That is so good. I mean, how old are you, Billie, as well?
I'm 24.
See, what the hell? You've done so well for your age. That is crazy. Oh my God. Well, Billie, I know that people will probably listen to this and they'll be like, I want to message Billie about Mexico, about America, about Thailand. So what is your social media? How can people find you if people want to ask any questions?
Yeah, so I have a TikTok and an Instagram for my travel under the same name, and it's Travel with B26. B as in like a bumblebee.
Cool.
And yeah, like, genuinely, I always say anyone can reach out to me, speak to me about anything, ask me any questions. Even if you want to just chat, like, as you can tell, I literally will just not stop talking. Like, I'm so happy to just speak and chat to anyone about anything.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Billie. It's been like so nice just to hear about what you've been doing and what you're going to do. Like, I feel like I know you so much better now, which is just so nice to hear. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And obviously, thank you everyone for listening, for watching. If anybody has any questions today about anything that me and Billie have spoke about, you can always contact us via email, social media, or you can give us a call. Or, of course, you can get in contact with Billie as well, and she would gladly answer any questions. So we just want to say thank you so much for listening or watching, and we'll see you on the next podcast, everyone. So goodbye.